So I'm waiting for gas to get back down to a buck 89, and then I'll go fill up my 55-gallon barrel because it's
Yeah,
down to
yeah,
about half.
yeah. Dad's like a terrorist. He's got barrels of gasoline stored somewhere. You're insane. All right, back to real estate.
Yeah, let's get back.
Hello there, everybody. Jamie
Hello,
with
Jamie.
Jamie with Sell for 1% Realtors, joined as usual by the gang, Jason Barlow and Dave Barlow, and we
Somebody
have
was filling their oats this morning.
we have Rich Cercone at Highlands Mortgage to go over. It is June 17th, 2026. We're going to go over the local Columbus market, I guess in general, mortgage interest rates and kind of what's going on in the market. Sounds like there is a peace deal that's being hammered out in the Middle East. So I don't know if that's had immediate effects or what's going on with that, Rich. What do you got for us?
Yeah, this is not one of those boring days, that's for sure. We've got peace in the Middle East being propagated, and we hope that holds. That has driven down the price of crude oil. Dave later on can give you an update on gasoline, top tier gasoline prices. But the other thing that's happening today is this is the first news conference and Fed meeting for the new Fed Governor, Kevin Warsh. We're hoping he's going to warsh the markets into worse is a Pittsburgh term, by the way, when you wash your clothes. But let's hoping he washes the market and brings us lower rates. We don't know, but it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about his sentiment going forward. And maybe I don't think anybody expects him to lower rates today, although that would be a huge surprise. But they are interested to find out what he thinks the near future looks like with the markets, with a peace deal, and and with his new mandate from President Trump. He was handpicked by Trump, so Trump wants lower interest rates. So maybe we'll hear some good things today. But that's all to be determined, and we'll have an update for you next week on that part of it.
Sounds good. Yeah. Whole world is starting to come back to sanity. Gas prices are down to about a buck 89 a gallon right now, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, not so fast, my friends.
uh,
I just
so
keep filling up on the wrong day, I guess. It's insane.
one of the things that your mother hates the worst is that I'm always riding around on empty. And so, and your car tells you
A
got
lot of things that mother hates, but yeah, that's one of them.
you got 78 miles left. And so we had an appointment yesterday that we were headed to, and it's 22 miles away, and I've got 81 miles of gas left. And she's like, "Well, we can't stop. Do you think we can make it?" I was like, "Where are you not seeing the correlation in 81 versus 22? We can get down there and get back without any problems." So she sat very quietly. We got to the appointment. On the way back, I had to get gas. And the only place that I could get gas without going way out of my way are the two gas stations down there at the bottom of Worthington Hills on 315, which of course are the highest priced gas stations, I think, in the state. Because
Downtown Columbus sucks. Let me tell you that.
the
It's
the gas
crazy.
the gas I was there, I had a choice between the Shell and Marathon, which are both
Top
what
tier.
top tier gas.
I go Shell personally, buddy.
Well, Marathon, the sign was kind of hidden behind a tree, was 4.59 a gallon. The Shell was 4.49 a gallon. So I pulled into the Shell thinking I'm going to save 10 cents a gallon. So I get out, I have to run high test in my car. And the V, whatever it's called there, is normally high test is $1 more than the regular. So I'm expecting to pay 5.59 or 5.49 a gallon. I get out of my car, go to do the fill up, 6:19. I
Oh,
thought, oh, I should have gone to marathon.
thought maybe you got
Yeah, you
transported to
don't want that
California or
gunk in your
something.
engine up, buddy. You stay at the
Oh
shell.
boy. Oh yeah, because you got all the super special additives. It's not only top tier, it's top tier
I think
at
that's
the
what like
Yeah.
the
shell.
race car clubs around Columbus always fill up at shells,
Well,
put in their exotic cars when they race around 270, and I can hear them from 20 miles away at night.
so one of my theories is I when I had to pay premium price, I only fill up to a half tank, which is part of the reason why I'm always on empty.
I'm
but
sure Maria likes that part of it too.
but the reasoning is that hauling around another 15 gallons of
Oh my
gas
gosh.
lowers your gas mileage.
Do you people see what I had to deal with at family dinners and the discussions that have to be had that I have no choice but to have?
So so I got a half a tank and your mom, she's like,
Gosh.
oh, how much do you think you're going to save per mile by not going full? It's like it calculates, it all adds up. So I did get gas. I had 300 miles to empty after my half tank. And so I said, we should be able to make it home.
This is like, I don't know if you've seen that clip of Shaquille O'Neal. This is Shaquille O'Neal logic, where he's talking about that he pays less for gas because he fills up when he gets to a half tank every
Yeah.
time. So, you should do the opposite to not stress out your wife is fill it up all the way. When you get to a half tank, fill up half a tank. But you don't want to carry around this extra weight.
Yeah,
You're
that
nuts. You're
yeah, you don't
nuts.
want to carry around the extra weight. It's like carrying around, two or three extra people. It lowers your cost per mile. So, and then every once in a while, when the gas is really low, then I'll get a full tank. And then she's like, "Well, why'd you get a full tank?" Well, because it was a good price. I could offset the extra
Yeah.
weight with the better price.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yep. Great.
So I'm waiting for gas to get back down to a buck 89, and then I'll go fill up my 55-gallon barrel because it's
Yeah.
down to
Yeah.
about half.
Yeah. Dad's like a terrorist. He's got barrels of gasoline stored somewhere. You're insane. All right. Back to real estate.
Yeah, let's get back to real estate. That's your
The
that's your weekly gas update. Brought to you
the
by Shell
the pending
V
home sales
for
are
six
down
dollars
from
and
last
nineteen
week.
dollars a gallon.
The pending home sales are down from last week. We are still way above where we were this time last year. And so homes are continuing to sell pretty strongly right now here in June, despite the $6 gasoline and Dave's premium vehicle. And the median prices are above where they were last year. So prices are strong, pending sales are strong. Inventory is down slightly. We're at 5,199 this week. Although I will say on the last couple videos, we've been updating these on Thursday, and Thursday is kind of the major day for new listings. So I would suspect tomorrow this number will eclipse where we were last week slightly. I don't know if you guys, if you're watching this in the market, when I say watch, like you're watching home sales and you're actively in the market, Thursday is always a day when the most number of listings hit before the weekend. And so just, I expect that number to climb. Anecdotally, I mean, what I'm seeing is on my listings that come out of the gate priced well. And I've had a couple sellers here where they're like, yeah, let's be a little aggressive on price. Most sellers, they want to reach and they want to try for the absolute most.
Mhm.
And then I've got two of them recently that have said, yeah, let's be a little aggressive. Let's price it a little bit under what we think. Both of those have gone with 3, 4+ offers in 2, 3 days.
It's amazing, isn't
The
it?
one that came on that was reaching, I've had 0 showings in a week on it. So it's all pricing, and I feel silly saying the same thing to my clients, every week, but it's like if you're not selling, it's pure price related. And I know you want to try it for the most, and a lot of these they do pop, after a certain amount of days. So you're playing a lot of different there's a lot of different factors that come into it, and I won't go on and on, but if you want a quick sale, price it 5, 10,000 under what's been selling, and you're going to have a much better experience. Now, if you want to push it, that's cool, but just plan on it taking, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. The one other stat before I hand it over to Jamie on the buyer side is looking at the days on market in Columbus, the in breaking the market into four equal segments on price. So like the top 25% of the listings price wise, those are selling pretty quickly right now. When I say quickly, 3 weeks or less on average. The ones in the bottom quarter, so like $200,000 and under, those homes are taking the longest to sell right now. And so, and we've talked about this before, the people in the luxury market, they are not as impacted by gas prices or the economy as the first time home buyers are. And so normally you would see, well, homes that are $100,000 are selling super quick. That's not the case right now. Homes that are priced like in Olentangy schools, $500,000, they're selling in like a week. But the home that's in the hilltop right now on the west side of Columbus, that's 175, and you got 60 other homes for sale, those are taking a long time to sell. So it really depends on what segment of the market you're in as a seller or a buyer as well. Jay Marunsky,
Let me just
what do you
real
see on the
quick
buy side?
before Jamie jumps
Nope.
in there.
Nope.
I had when I got into real estate, I had a lot of sales background, marketing background, business background, but I did not have much in the way of real estate background. And I came out of the gates great, had, within the first 3, 4 months, had, 8, 10 listings, was setting the world on fire. But then all of a sudden I started having phone calls to the office manager, Joanne Hall, that Dave took the listing and never heard from him again. And Joanne was smart enough to assign me a mentor by the name of Dick Henry. And Dick was an old Welshman. Him and my dad got along famously because of that Welsh connection. But I remember Henry, and he was an old sales guy. He had owned a trucking company. And I remember him, sitting down with him and talking about everything. And he told to me, and it sticks in my head to this day, 27 years later. And he was kind of a gruff guy. And he said, Barlow, the only reason a house doesn't sell is because of price. You get the price right, it'll sell. And what you were just saying there, Jay, made me think of that it's still true today. My example I give sellers is that, if your house, saying it's worth 500 grand and you want 550, it's probably going to sit a little bit. But if you want 350, how fast do you think it's going to sell? And so, the equation, very simply, the more competitively price you make your home, the faster it sell. And then in many cases, like what you just mentioned as well, you are going to get multiple offers. And I've had the same exact experience when they price it to what I think it's worth. We're getting 2, 3 offers, and we are getting little bidding wars. They're not going for 50, 60, 80,000 overpriced like they were back during COVID. But I am seeing, houses being overpriced by or bidded up 5, 10. I just closed one 15,000 over the asking price. And, the asking price was 350, sold for 365. So, get it priced right is the point. Jay, I'll give it back to you to introduce your younger, more handsome brother.
Oh, Jay Marunsky looks so happy to be here right now. What do you got on the buy side, bro?
I mean, it's kind of it's funny on you guys, giving the advice on the sell side. On the buy side, it's kind of, it's going to be the same kind of, obviously on the opposite side of the fence. Where I think pricing is, the most important thing for a property. On the buy side, buyers are looking at condition. And so, I mean, if your house has a bunch of projects that need, done, like your kitchen isn't updated or your bathrooms aren't updated, you got issues there where those are, 15, $20,000 projects minimum. Um, that's gonna affect the pricing as well. And so you might be in line with a few of the comps, but those comparable sales, those properties have updated bathrooms and updated kitchens. Buyers aren't gonna, be pulling the trigger on that. But then, they walk through a house that is updated, flooring, gleaming hardwood floors and updated kitchens, updated bathrooms. And, when a buyer walks through a house, like, yeah, this is a nice house. Well, other buyers are thinking that as well. Other buyers are getting that same sort of impression. And so that's where I see the multiple offers coming in, and buyers having to compete if they want the house. And I, recently here in Worthington and in Dublin, seeing things that, may require an appraisal gap, which I haven't seen in a little while. But I think that's the summer market. And again, those are properties I think that are well updated and positioned well, price wise as well, for the market. If you need flooring, your kitchen has old cabinets, old fixtures, your bathroom, needs updating, you're gonna probably have to get a little more aggressive on price to find yourself a buyer. So, but then the ones, like I said, that are move-in ready, turnkey, ready to go, those are seeing multiple offers. So, um, yeah, I mean, I agree with you on pricing 100%. That's always what it comes down to. Condition is playing a bigger role at the moment right now. I think with the amount of listings that are out there and available, um, buyers want a house in good condition. So that is what I'm seeing.
It's a good thing, right? I think we're seeing a little bit of a balanced market, maybe. I
It's a
don't think
healthy
Yeah.
market for sure.
Yeah, I don't think
You
that
know,
it's a seller's market that, sellers can make all kinds of demands. I don't think it's a buyer's market where the buyers are like, if you want to sell a house, you'll do it for 25,000. I think that it's a little more balanced. Yeah, it might be just a hair on the seller side, but I think buyers are taking a tact, and Jamie, you can tell me this right or not, but um, I think buyers, if it's not the right fit, they're not forcing it. They're being a little more choosy about what they're looking at and what they're willing to put their money down on. And, sellers, we're not able to sell the house with, green flock wallpaper, shag carpeting, hasn't been
you may not be
updated
able to. You
for
call me, I'll sell
maximum
that house.
price.
What you got going on, in my opinion, is with the buyers. Like I'm looking right now, and what's crazy is, in Columbus, when I first started, 2005, I mean, my average sales price is $104,000. And, today homes are selling, everything's selling 400,000 plus, it seems,
Right.
so on a $350,000 house with 3.5% down, so like an FHA loan, when you add in taxes, PMI, insurance, that's a $2,888 payment. So on a 350 house, you're paying almost $3,000 a month. That's a decent amount of money for a entry level home. And my opinion is, unless it's the perfect buyer that needs that neighborhood, it's next to grandma's house, or I grew up there, or hey, I'm handy and I can do this stuff myself, or my uncle does flooring and he can change it. You're trying to thread the needle because you can't expect a buyer to walk in, put down 15 grand, pay $3,000 a month, and have to instantly put $50,000 into the house and updates. So that's where you start running into this friction. And every buyer, when you get into the fixer upper world, every seller wants to know, well, what's it worth as is. And until you put it out there That's a really hard call to make because what I just said, some buyers are going to come in and, hey, I'm handy. I can do this myself. It's going to cost me $10,000 to fix this house up. Other people are going to walk in with their realtor and have no concept on what stuff costs. Oh, this is $80,000 worth of work.
Right.
This house isn't worth that. And so you get this big swing in how buyers perceive a house when it needs work. So it's condition affects price. It's all pricing. If that house at 425 that needs to proceed $50,000 worth of work, well, if it's 375, it'll sell. But at 425, it's going to sit. And again, that's because you're paying $4,000 a month, and I got to put money into it. It becomes a problem, and that's something that sellers really need to look at is what's the monthly payment? Because a lot of these sellers have a 3% interest rate, and they're paying $1,500 a month.
Right.
And they don't really get that. So that's where we, as the professionals, try and guide you guys. Does anybody got anything else to add before I wrap her up?
Wrap it up.
If you like this video,
Rich is ready to go.
Make sure you ring the bell,
Bing, bing.
like and subscribe, guys, and leave a comment below. Jaime reads all the comments. He takes them all very personally, and he will respond and get back to you instantly with real estate knowledge. If you need to buy, give Jay Marunsky a call. You need to sell, give me a call. If you want to complain about me or Jamie, call Dad. He takes all the complaints and is always thrilled to hear the complaints. And then if you need a mortgage, refi, give Rich a call. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you next week.
Make sure you wash behind your ears when you shower tonight.